I am here to do your English lesson. So I think this is the only English video we have next week. This is lesson 127 on modifiers. Lesson 128 is on some confusing words like fewer and less and good and well. And if you use this part at the top of the page, that will be a help to you. So just do your best on those. Try your best, get some help from a parent or somebody, or you can send me a message and ask me about it. And then the final page is a review. And so you have the benefit that you should have all of these pages. So remember, each section on the review will go through something that we did on a page. So if you staple all of your English papers together, you should have 3 packets. So each packet had 3 assignments. I know there are some of the assignments that you might not have done because I had them marked as optional, but you can still use this part to do the review for it. And it's good for you to go through and do some of those things. Now that we're not returning to school, we need to make sure that we are doing enough so that next year won't be too hard. Because I won't be able to, like in May, go back like we thought and get you all caught up and ready for 7th grade. And so there's a big jump between the 6th grade grammar and the 7th grade grammar. So I want to make sure that you can handle it really well. And so we're going to just have to do more than we've been doing so that we can be ready to move on. So this section's on modifiers. We've already talked about that word, modifiers. Modifiers modify things. That means you change it. You make it be different, make it be more specific. So here it has this definition that's helpful. So it's a word or a phrase that describes another word. So adjectives, adverbs, and prepositional phrases are all modifiers. Modifiers that describe a noun or a pronoun are adjectives or adjectival phrases. So the Swiss rolls behind the counter are delicious. Every single thing underlined here describes the rolls. They're all adjectives or adjectival phrases. The, talking about the rolls, Swiss rolls. The rolls are behind the counter. That tells which rolls. And delicious describes how the rolls taste. So these are all adjectives. Modifiers that describe a verb, an adjective, or an adverb are adverbs or adverbial phrases. So he quickly ran through the park. Quickly tells how he ran, and through the park tells where he ran. The park is extremely large. Extremely tells us how large it is, the extent to which it is large. Because park can't be extremely. You can't like, how is that park? Oh, that park is extremely. Because somebody would say, extremely what? The extremely isn't describing the park, it's describing how large the park is. So that makes it an adverb. And we talked about that the other day, that a lot of ly words are adverbs. Not all of them. Like friendly is an adjective, but it ends in an ly. Or silly is an adjective, and it ends in an ly. So just because it ends in an ly doesn't make it an adverb, but often that's what they are. Okay. The caretakers very carefully mow the grass. Carefully describes how they mow. Okay. And then very describes carefully. And so that makes very an adverb because it's describing another adverb. Okay, so that's the one that's different here. Adverbs describe verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Nouns or adjectives only describe nouns or pronouns. Okay. So let's do some examples. Don't let it be too confusing. They only give you 2 choices each time. So you're not choosing between 4 different options, just 2 different options. Okay. And you'll want to use this. You can identify a modifier by identifying the word it describes or modifies. So ask yourself a question. What is this word talking about? What is it describing? And that can help you figure out what it is. Okay, we have 2 jobs to do. Draw an arrow from the underlined modifier to the word that it modifies, and then identify the type of modifier. So some insects can be useful for killing pests. What are useful? The insects are useful. It's describing insects. Insects is a noun, so that means it's an adjective. Okay. The ladybugs in your yard are pest killers. The ladybugs are the things that are in your yard. And because this is a prepositional phrase, that's why they give us these options. And because it's telling us the location of the ladybugs, that makes it adjectival. Okay. The tiny aphid is very destructive. What is very? Is the aphid very? No, that doesn't make any sense. You can't be like, hey, that thing is very. It's like calling the park extremely. That doesn't make sense because we don't know what it's talking about. So very is describing destructive, and words that describe adjectives are adverbs. Okay, number 4. This is the type of one where I wouldn't be picky, because I think somebody could argue pretty easily that this in one day could be talking about a couple things. In one day, a ladybug will eat 50 aphids. I think it's perfectly acceptable to think, well, it's by ladybug, and it's talking about the an amount of time the ladybug has, or something like that. And sometimes that's okay. But if I think, okay, well, what happens in one day? It's the eating. So to me, I would choose that in one day, that's when the ladybugs will eat. All right? So that would make it adverbial because it's describing when they eat. However, we saw phrases that were adjectival in one of our last lessons. So once in a while, like, I wouldn't be picky on something like this. Like, if it was a test or something that you were doing, I would not be picky about which you chose if you understood why you chose it. So, like, I could rephrase this: a ladybug will eat 50 aphids in one day. Or a ladybug will, in one day, eat 50 aphids. I would pick adverbial for that. Okay. Then, Australian ladybugs came to the United States in the 1880s. Australian is describing the ladybugs. That makes it an adjective. Okay. How does that look? All right. So your job will be to do the back. It's very similar. All of those questions, and then there's your little section down at the bottom. Let me look at that. Down at the bottom, you have your outline, and write. It says to write 2 sentences about your favorite outdoor place, underline the modifiers. Okay, so just do your best. It shouldn't be too bad. 2 sentences. Remember your capital letter and your period, and then underline the modifiers. So even saying here, look, your favorite and outdoor, those are all adjectives describing the place. Whose place is it? It's your favorite place. What kind of place is it? It's an outdoor place. And it's also my favorite outdoor place. So all of those are modifiers. They all modify place. So if I just said, the place is nice, somebody might say, well, what place are you talking about? You say, my favorite outdoor place. And then you have all those modifiers in there to help somebody understand what place you're talking about. All right? So that is your only English lesson for this week. And then we will start another chapter. And I may have us skip a week in between and focus on something else. So don't be surprised if you don't see any English papers in your next one. We have one more chapter that we have to do for the year, and then I have another chapter I might include that you can just work at your own pace, that will help you with some research stuff. So, anyways, I hope that you have a great day, and remember, if you have any questions about anything, don't be afraid to ask me. All right?